Hello everyone. So for this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about when police ignore kids missing from foster care. More than 10% of children who go missing from foster care or group homes are not reported to law enforcement. That information came out with a federal audit. That means that no one is looking for those children. A federal law passed in 2014 that requires employees of group homes and other facilities children to report missing children to law enforcement within 24 hours. Police then have 2 hours to enter their info into a national database. The audit by the Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reviewed the cases of children who went missing from foster care between July 1st, 2018 and December 31st, 2020. They found 74,353 incidents in which children were missing for more than 2 days or longer. Auditors examined a representative sample of 100 cases to draw larger conclusions. They estimated that state agencies did not follow the reporting law in nearly 14,000 instances. Of these, more than 5,600 were not reported in a timely manner. The longest lag time between a child's disappearance and entry about the case into the federal database was an 821-day period. The child was still missing when the audit was completed. More than 8,300 disappearances were never reported to law enforcement. The 100 cases in the sample handled by 36 state agencies. The worst rated was the state of Illinois. Other states with unreported cases were California, Iowa, and New York. Reports were delayed in Alabama, Alaska, Connecticut, Kansas, Mississippi, and New Mexico. In some cases, state agencies never reported the missing children to law enforcement. In others, law enforcement was notified but failed to enter the child into the database. To top that off, the audit identified inadequate data and tracking systems as one reason for the problem. The audit report stated the lack of an accurate mechanism for state agencies to track their missing children reports to law enforcement makes it difficult for the state agencies to identify missing children who were not reported, to identify any weaknesses in their response times, and to take action to improve their processes for reporting episodes in accordance with federal requirements. The longer children are missing, the more likely they are to be harmed. A 2006 study by the Washington State Attorney General's Office and the U.S. Department of Justice reviewed the case of nearly 800 missing kids later found murdered. In 76% of the cases, the child was killed within 3 hours. In 88.5% of cases, they were killed within a day. In addition to being at risk of injury or death, missing children may become victims of sex trafficking and in danger of becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol. More than three-fourths of the foster children who went missing in 4 states were not screened after they were found to identify whether they had been victims of sex trafficking violations. And that was in violation of federal law. The audit found that in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Illinois, the vast majority of recovered foster children were not screened, despite evidence that missing children are often sexually exploited. A fifth state, Texas, has a better record with 83% of the children screened, but the inspector general said that the screenings were not thorough. A federal judge threatened Texas with contempt fines for the state's failure to improve conditions in their foster care system, including inadequate background checks of caregivers and the high rate of sexual abuse of children. The federal government spends about $10 billion a year helping states maintain their foster care systems according to the Congressional Budget Office. The number on what they spend varies from different place to different thing. I have seen where some of them have like okay 10 billion to help maintain their foster care systems. That 10 billion may actually just be for like the technical, for the computers, for for the files or whatever. It may not actually be money that goes to the children. So when another report says that they spend 60 billion, that may actually be the subsidies that go to the children for their clothes vouchers or something like that. Thought I would clear that up because that's one thing that has kind of been driving me crazy. But I investigated it a little bit and that was the answer. That is equivalent to a little more than spent per month on the war in Afghanistan based on an estimate cited by Joe Biden. The problem of children disappearing while in foster care is a long standing one. A significant majority are teens who leave for various reasons, according to state data, like running away, feeling unsafe in the placement, reacting to constant temporary placements, or wanting to reunite with family and friends. In 2020, a 16-year-old girl who had gone missing from foster care was found dead on an Arizona highway, and officials concluded that she had been trafficked. Anaya Walker was loved. Her family spent years searching for justice, and now a man that she knew was found guilty in a court of law. I will put a link to some of her past news articles either in the description if I can. If not, I will place them in the comments below. Also in 2020, the report determined Kansas did not ensure that all foster care group homes complied with state licensing requirements related to health and safety of children in those homes. In March 2021, the watch found that some states lack oversight systems to ensure that every child victim has a court representative, and it found that challenges impede some states' abilities to appoint a representative for every child victim. Then in September, the Inspector General reported that the Missouri State Foster Care Agency rarely tried to reduce children's risk of going missing, failed to protect all children who were missing from foster care, and did not effectively use resources to assist in locating them. And this is not a deep dive, guys. This is just as sickening and as saddening as it is that the system has failed so many children, so many families, so many perps get away with this shit. This is not even a deep dive. This right here was literally like 3 a.m. research, just skimming through things, putting it together. Imagine what we're going to find in future videos after I have time to deep dive. different sections of stuff like this. But then this leaves the question, do you know what is going on in your state? Do you know the numbers associated to missing and trafficked children in your area? Will any of us ever truly know due to most not being reported? And we haven't even begun to cover or discuss the cover-ups yet. Stay safe, everyone.